Formula One's biggest secret isn't hiding inside the garage at Ferrari or Red Bull. It's sitting right inside a brand new facility in Banbury. Toyota and Haas are quietly building a project that will completely rewrite the 2027 grid. For a decade, Haas lived on borrowed time and borrowed parts. Now, Toyota Gazoo Racing is handing them the one thing they never had: total technical independence. This isn't just another sponsorship badge slapped on an engine cover. This is a massive structural takeover. Behind closed doors, Toyota and Haas are executing a multi-stage engineering offensive. They are building custom hardware. They are deploying advanced driver-in-the-loop simulation systems. They are quietly laying the groundwork for a future where Haas stops surviving at the back of the grid and starts fighting for genuine podiums. To understand why this secret project changes everything for 2027, look at how Haas was built in the first place. Back in 2016, Gene Haas entered Formula One with a radically simple business strategy: minimize overhead, buy every non-listed component directly from Ferrari, contract the chassis construction out to Dallara in Italy, keep the core team tiny, split operations between Canapolis, Banbury, and Maranello, hope the budget cap would eventually level the playing field. For a long time, that strategy worked. It got Haas on the grid without burning hundreds of millions of dollars in capital expenditure. But as Formula One evolved, that ultra-lean model turned into a massive cage. When you buy your rear suspension, gearbox, and hydraulics from Ferrari, your aerodynamic philosophy is locked to theirs. If Ferrari designs a suspension geometry that favors high-speed stability over low-speed traction, Haas has to build their entire car around those exact same mounting points. You can't innovate your way out of a flaw if the core hardware belongs to someone else. Worse still, Haas never possessed their own high-end driver-in-the-loop simulator. While Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren spent every weekend running virtual setup changes overnight to adapt to changing track surface conditions, Haas had to rely on raw track data, basic correlation tools, and driver feedback gathered on Friday morning. When track conditions shifted between practice and qualifying, Haas was flying completely blind. They had no way to simulate floor flex, no way to model tire degradation across long stints, no way to test aggressive setup tweaks without risking real track time. When Ayao Komatsu took over as team principal, he knew the team had hit a hard ceiling. They couldn't scale up under Gene Haas's private funding alone. They didn't have the manufacturing footprint to rapidly produce upgraded floor edges or lightweight wing assemblies. They were fast on Saturday when the base setup clicked. On Sunday, thermal tire degradation stripped away their pace every single week. Enter Toyota Gazoo Racing. When Akio Toyoda walked away from Formula One in 2009, it was a sudden retreat driven by the global financial crisis. Toyota had spent billions over 8 seasons without winning a single Grand Prix. It was one of the most expensive corporate missteps in motorsport history, but Toyota never lost his passion for racing. Over the last decade, he built Toyota Gazoo Racing into a world-dominating force across the World Rally Championship and the World Endurance Championship. Yet, there was always unfinished business in Grand Prix racing. Toyota felt that Japanese engineers, mechanics, and young drivers were being cut off from the absolute peak of automotive technology. He didn't want to burn another $500 million building an isolated works team from scratch in Cologne, only to get lost in modern F1 bureaucracy. He needed a lean, hungry partner already on the grid. Haas needed engineering horsepower. Toyota needed an F1 gateway. It was a perfect match. When the technical alliance was officially announced, most casual observers assumed it was a simple commercial deal. TGR logos on the car, a few Japanese academy drivers getting test runs in old chassis, a little publicity. They were completely wrong. What Toyota and Haas are actually executing is a multi-phase structural integration designed to bypass the traditional lag of building an F1 operation. The crown jewel of this secret project is currently taking shape inside Haas's operational base in Banbury. For the past year, Toyota engineers have been quietly building and calibrating a state-of-the-art driver-in-the-loop simulator hardware rig. This isn't just an off-the-shelf simulator with standard force feedback steering. Toyota used their primary R&D simulator facility in Epsom as the foundational benchmark to build a bespoke system tailored specifically to Haas's vehicle dynamic models. Why does this matter so much for 2027? Because standard F1 simulation is changing. With the massive shift in active aerodynamics, movable front and rear wings, and radically restructured power units coming into play, offline mathematical simulation is no longer enough. Drivers need real-time tactile feedback to understand how the car behaves when active aero shifts from low-drag straight-line modes to high downforce cornering modes. Up until now, Haas had to rent simulator time or rely on basic digital estimations. Now, with Toyota's engineering team physically embedding themselves in Banbury, Haas is gaining real-time correlation capability. They can test aero map variations, suspension stiffness, and differential settings in a virtual environment 24 hours a day. When the car hits the track on Friday morning, the baseline setup won't be a guess anymore. It will be backed by thousands of simulated laps run by Toyota-backed test drivers and Haas race drivers. Software is only half the equation. The physical manufacturing side is where Toyota is quietly altering Haas's entire trajectory. Under the traditional Haas setup, manufacturing new components was a painstaking, slow process. If the aerodynamic team in Maranello designed a new front wing end plate or a revised floor edge, Haas had to wait for third-party suppliers to clear machine time, manufacture the carbon fiber composites, and ship them to the track. In the fast-moving development race of modern F1, a 3-week delay on an upgrade package can cost you 4 places in the Constructors' Championship. Toyota Gazoo Racing is changing that entire dynamic. Toyota's legendary R&D center in Cologne, Germany, the massive facility originally built for their 2000s F1 program and continuously upgraded for their championship-winning Le Mans hypercars, is opening its doors to Haas. Toyota possesses world-class carbon fiber composite manufacturing plants, advanced metallic 3D printing infrastructure, and precision machining equipment. Instead of relying entirely on third-party Italian contractors, Haas can now draft designs and have Toyota's manufacturing arm produce complex structural components with rapid turnaround times. Think about what that means for development velocity. When rival midfield teams take 3 to 4 races to bring a major floor upgrade, Haas can cycle through iterative micro-upgrades almost every single weekend. They can test a new floor flap in Friday practice, send the telemetry data straight to Cologne and Banbury, refine the composite layup overnight, and have a lighter, stiffer version ready for the next race. That level of rapid prototyping was previously exclusive to top-tier works operations like Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes. Now, Haas has that exact same industrial muscle backing them up from behind the curtain. Then there's the human element, what Toyota calls their people-product pipeline philosophy. Formula One isn't just about machines, it's about human speed. How fast can your race engineers analyze telemetry? How quickly can your mechanics diagnose an intermittent electrical fault? How accurately can your aerodynamicists interpret complex CFD data? Through their testing of previous cars program, Toyota has been embedding dozens of their top Japanese engineers, technicians, and mechanics directly inside the Haas trackside operation. They aren't just sitting in the back of the garage taking notes. They are turning wrenches on real F1 machinery, running systems checks, and mastering the fast-paced, high-pressure workflow of modern Grand Prix weekends. This creates a massive feedback loop. Toyota's bright young minds get hardened in the toughest motorsport environment on Earth. In return, Haas gains access to a deep pool of hyper-disciplined, elite technical talent without exceeding the strict headcount limitations imposed by the budget cap. While other midfield teams are constantly fighting staff burnout and struggling to recruit top engineering graduates, Haas has a continuous stream of elite Toyota personnel, stepping directly into their organization. So why is all of this specifically aimed at 2027, rather than just 2026? The answer comes down to structural lead times and technical integration limits. The new engine and chassis regulations introduce active aerodynamics, modified floor dimensions, and completely redesigned hybrid power units. Every team on the grid has been working on their baseline concepts for months. But because the Haas-Toyota technical partnership only truly ramped up recently, Toyota's full suite of simulation tools, custom manufacturing processes, and embedded engineering personnel won't reach peak operational efficiency until late into the season. In 2026, Haas will still be adapting to the new rules while bringing their Banbury simulator fully online. They will still rely heavily on Ferrari's power unit, suspension, and wind tunnel in Maranello. 2026 is the bridge year, the transition phase where the new machinery is bedded in and the operational workflows are refined under fire. 2027 is when the trap springs. By 2027, the Banbury simulator will have a full year of real-world track correlation data baked into its software architecture. The Toyota manufacturing pipeline in Cologne will be operating at full speed. The race team will be fully integrated with cross-trained Toyota personnel who know every nut and bolt of the car. For the first time in its history, Haas won't just be assembling a car out of bought parts and surviving on scrap budget. They will be designing and executing a fully integrated vehicle platform backed by the vast industrial weight of Toyota Gazoo Racing. Naturally, this raises a massive question in the paddock. What does Ferrari think about all of this? On paper, Ferrari is still Haas's primary technical partner. Maranello supplies the internal combustion engine, the turbocharger, the MGUK, the gearbox casing, and the entire rear suspension assembly. Haas still uses Ferrari's wind tunnel in Maranello for aerodynamic testing. When Toyota joined forces with Haas, many experts expected tension between Maranello and Toyota City, but Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur explicitly greenlit the partnership. Why? Because Ferrari benefits too. A stronger, more financially stable, and technically capable Haas team gives Ferrari a far more reliable platform to evaluate their customer power units and collect real-world track data. Furthermore, Toyota is not building an engine to compete with Ferrari. They are strictly focused on vehicle performance, simulation infrastructure, manufacturing, and talent development. Ferrari keeps its lucrative customer engine supply contract. Toyota gets a direct, cost-effective pipeline into Formula One without building an engine plant from scratch. Haas gets the best of both worlds. World-class Ferrari horsepower mated to Toyota's cutting-edge industrial manufacturing and software simulation. It is a masterclass in modern sporting politics and technical collaboration. Look at the bigger picture. Formula One is no longer a sport where a tiny underdog can build a car in a shed and punch above its weight on luck alone. The cost cap changed the rules of engagement. Money alone can't buy victory anymore. Success requires maximum efficiency, perfect correlation, lightning-fast manufacturing, and flawless execution. Gene Haas built the foundation. Ayao Komatsu provided the strategic direction, and Toyota Gazoo Racing is supplying the high-tech engine of growth that will elevate this team into a genuine mid-pack powerhouse. The secret project isn't about immediate miracles. It's about building a sustainable, elite engineering pipeline that will peak in 2027. While rival teams are busy watching Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari fight for headlines, Toyota and Haas are quietly constructing something dangerous in Banbury. When 2027 rolls around, don't be surprised when the American team with Japanese soul starts dropping jaws across the paddock. The quiet buildup is over. Toyota is back in Formula One, and Haas will never be the same again.